Hey, this is Survey Teardown 29 of the 50 Surveys Project. I am Hannah, Qualitative Researcher, part-time survey snob, and we are on our way to 50 survey teardowns in 50 days. Today's teardown is a survey invitation email by the lovely LinkedIn. It's on my screen, it's on your screen, and here we go. LinkedIn wants to hear from us, guys. I feel like I should be excited reading this, especially because there's an exclamation mark and it's the biggest in font on the page, but it's not really that exciting. And that has less to do with LinkedIn and more to do with the fact that it's very overdone, right? Like, this is very common. We want to hear from you. We want your feedback. This isn't necessarily new. It feels a little more like stock language. And we've talked about this in past teardowns where you want to lead with an incentive or a benefit. And here, there is an incentive that they have, but they don't lead with that. And they don't lead with much of a benefit either. There's a slight benefit actually in the subject line. Your expertise is requested. Like, that feels kind of exclusive, especially since it's LinkedIn. I know that they know my expertise, so maybe they want to know specifically from me. And maybe this is a continuation of that. Like, we want to hear from you in particular and your expertise, but it doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like necessarily there's that thread there. This feels a little safe. So if in terms of the language and the fact that it's just very common and overdone with companies who just want to send surveys out. Now, that is not necessarily a problem, right? Like, LinkedIn is huge. I love LinkedIn. Who doesn't love LinkedIn? Tons of folks use it. Database and response rate is probably not a huge problem, assuming they're sending this out to a large sample. Unless this is like a really small subset, but it does feel more like an early research survey, like happening early on in the discovery or process of whatever this project is. But leading with a benefit, leading with an incentive, something that tells me, like, why should I respond, right? Or even something more human, like, can you help us? Can you do us a favor? Can we talk? Because this is from a person. Which is great, but it doesn't really feel like it. And we'll see as we go through the rest of the survey, the rest of the email doesn't feel like it's from a person either. It's very, very formal, but let's keep reading. Thanks for being a valued LinkedIn member. You're welcome. This is one of those, like, very polite filler lines. You know, when you start an email and you're like, hope you're safe, hope this finds you well, hope you're keeping well. I've done that countless times. And especially before I learned anything about copywriting. And now I'm like, oh, this is just kind of hot air. And so the more that we can be really, really deliberate and specific with our ask, with our emails, with our survey invitation emails in particular, the better. Chances are when people get the the faintest hint of that this is a survey email, they're going to be skimming. They're just looking for, like, should I take this survey or not? So we want to make this really clear, like, what's the value? What is it? Why should you take it? Here's where you can take it, right? Like, really, really crisp, really direct, not let them get bogged down in anything else. This feels more like something we want to say at the bottom, and then they kind of repeat it here, like, we appreciate you taking the time. So a little bit redundant, could probably be tightened up. LinkedIn is conducting a survey about fine watchmaking brands and some brands in this category. Fine watchmaking brands. So when I first read this, I was like, what even is that? I just was thrown into, like, huge cognitive dissonance, because LinkedIn and watchmaking, I mean, my brain cannot compute. There's no context here, right? And you need context. It's really helpful to have that. I'm sure this has to do with some kind of ads, but without that context, I'm left guessing and trying to connect the dots. Potentially that's intentional, where the survey doesn't want to lead you and give you any context, and they want to ask you kind of cold, but context doesn't have to kind of reveal. Context can give you a bit of orientation, like, and kind of guide you to the subject, especially since this is like LinkedIn, which has nothing, as far as I, in my experience, know to do with fine watchmaking brands specifically. Also, LinkedIn is conducting a survey. can we dress this down? In the world of academics, I've done a lot of research with like patients and doctors, and there's so much formality because it is a formality. Like talking to patients, talking to doctors, you need to be kind of go through the protocol, go through the formality. That's not really the case here, right? This isn't one of those necessarily like buttoned down or buttoned up, like formal, publish in a journal, write an academic article kind of survey, research, a bit of research. And so we can really dress down the way we talk to the user. LinkedIn wants to know about, or LinkedIn wants to ask you about. We'd like to hear your opinion. We want to know. Really kind of dress it down, make it feel more like it's from Susan. Find watchmaking brands. Also, like, can we just talk about this? So I Googled watchmaking because I'm like, am I really thinking of the same thing? Like, is this the thing that you put on someone's wrist? Like, this is what we're talking about, watches? And of course it was. It's not like some term that I thought I was missing that I'm not. It is watchmaking. It is what it says. But I went down this rabbit hole, and I feel like if we have a little more context, we can stop people from also going down the same rabbit hole as I did. Or maybe that's just me and I've exposed an embarrassing lack of knowledge in fine watchmaking brands. Also, this sentence: LinkedIn is conducting a survey about fine watchmaking brands and some brands in this category. Some other brands in this category, some not fine watchmaking brands in this category. Looks like a word's missing there. But also, is this word necessary? Is the structure of this necessary? People are going to just read this and feel like, do I want to take this survey? So we want to make this super easy and just like glide them into saying yes. First reason to say yes for this is like, the survey's going to take 3 minutes. Oh yeah, of course. Like, that's so fast and easy. When you can talk about the speed at which your survey can be completed, or the minimum number of questions, if it's like actually a short number, say it, shout it, scream it. That will be huge incentive, especially because you can see down here, you can control receiving research invitations in the future. So there is a setting in LinkedIn that lets you opt in to get surveys like this. And so we can assume then that the people who are getting the survey have already self-selected. They've already raised their hand and been like, hey, yeah, send me a survey. So I'm sure the response rate is like through the roof. I mean, there's tons of people on LinkedIn using LinkedIn anyways. But we want to still make sure their experience of deciding to take the survey, even though they opted in a while back, individual surveys, can we make that experience effective? Can we make sure we're giving them like a good quality survey experience, and then make sure that it's not like, what is this weirdness? You know, like where is this coming from? We give them enough context so that they can just take the survey or not take the survey. All right, next line. If you qualify and complete the survey, you will receive, if you qualify. So immediate stumbling block, right? Like, this is a line people are going to read because they want to know about the $5. And if you qualify, suddenly it goes from like, we want to hear your opinion, even if you might not be familiar with the category, but now I have to qualify. So what if I don't qualify? How do I know if I qualify? What if I qualify, I don't qualify in the first question, but I still took the survey. So does that mean I still took the survey, it was just short. So does that mean I don't get the $5? You really want to make sure this is like not a stumbling block. Not because it might deter someone from taking the survey. They probably take it just because they want to see if they qualify. But it's just more friction. Make it so easy. Don't introduce confusion and barriers where there doesn't need to be. Also with the second half here, like, you will receive a $5 US dollar or your regional equivalent currency towards a digital reward or charitable donation. Wow, what a mouthful. Kind of unnecessary though, right? Like, your regional equivalent currency towards a digital reward. Is this PayPal? Is this a gift card? Can we say gift card? Do we need to know that we have to decide up front? Can this be something that we just talk about when I get the incentive? There's so much power in giving someone an incentive. Often clients I've worked with do this as well, where they'll give an actual like instant gratification reward for doing the incentive. I've also had clients that opted for doing a raffle, but where you can, giving someone, hey, thanks for completing this, here is your gift, is huge. Like, do not underestimate the power of that. People want the latte, people want the Starbucks, people want the gift card, and not, if you can help it, not the potential of getting something bigger. They want the now. So this is a really, really powerful incentive, but it's kind of bogged down in all of this that feels like it should be fine print, or, hey, here are the details of the incentive. Because it's not actually like, nothing here is devaluing the incentive. It's just details. So better kept as fine print. I want to hop up here for a sec because I missed this. Would like to hear your opinion, even if you might not be familiar with the category. Did I speak to that already? I feel like I did. Okay, anyway, didn't miss it. We know you may be facing some recent challenges or uncertainty, and we appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts. We also fully understand if you're not able to participate at this time. Nice and polite, but unnecessary. Also, if you're going to be facing recent challenges because of Corona, does that stop you from taking a 3-minute survey? I mean, I'm not trying to like hate on LinkedIn here. I love LinkedIn, and the fact that they're even doing these research surveys is fantastic. I love that. I think they're a super powerful platform. I use them all the time. I'm just saying that, is coronavirus going to stop them from taking the 3-minute survey? If they don't want to take the survey, they won't take the survey. And I don't think that they would feel bad about it, because we're asking them, hey, here's an incentive, and you're like, and they just decide they won't take it. That they can't for whatever reason. Maybe it has to do with Corona, maybe it doesn't. But if they're opening the email, chances are it's because they want to answer this request. So this feels like a block of text that is unnecessary friction, like a little disproportionate to, we appreciate you taking the time. So that's really nice. And we always want to say something to like actively thank. But this feels like giving permission for something we don't really need to give permission for. And we just want to focus on like a 3-minute survey and you get $5 and yay, we hope you can take it. And that's not necessarily putting pressure. You're not forcing anyone here to take the survey. And so because of that, you can actually cut this, which puts more focus on this awesomeness. Or rather even these two awesome things, right? That we can shorten it even more, help people make this decision even more quickly without feeling like they have to read all of these little potential caveats, which aren't really caveats. This is actually a great opportunity, but it can feel that way if they're only skimming. And at the bottom here, LinkedIn members come first. All data will be used in accordance with the privacy policy. Always great to have. LinkedIn always does. They're really great about this stuff anyways. Keeping the data and all of that information private. Fantastic. And that is it for today. I hope this was helpful. Maybe leave me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. If you have questions, let me know. If you have surveys that you want me to tear down or take a look at, hit subscribe so you can be the first to know when the next survey reaction is up. Send me surveys to react to on Twitter or in the comments, wherever, whenever. I will see you back here for Survey Teardown 30. Bye.